That was not right. Okay, let's stop that now. So, hey, welcome back to another episode of the GRP. That threw me off because it was not the correct intro song, but that's all right. We just got a little bit of a longer version of the old school style. It's because I haven't used this scene since I changed that, and I know exactly what I did wrong, which is cool because that means I can easily change it. But anyway, welcome back to the GRP. Infinity back in the room, back in the back on the pod.
What up? What up?
Been a few weeks since you've been in here with me just one-on-one.
Yeah.
Between you having stuff going and me doing other things, it's like it's been one of those times, but it's all
Life
good.
be lifing.
Yeah. It's always nice to link back up, and I've been trying to link back up with one of the guys I used to podcast with. Patrick used to be on a bunch. He's my buddy Josh has been in here with us before. It's his brother. So
okay, cool.
It's looking like he might be jumping on or actually coming here for next month's pay-per-view. So
Awesome.
But yeah, we're back Thursday night, ready to do some chit-chatting about all of the MMA and combat sports news. And yeah, there's some funny stuff to talk about this week because Dana White, as if you saw the thumbnail or read any of the description, Dana White decided to just trash everybody. So that's cool.
He's a little upset.
Yeah. So we'll have to get into that here. There's stuff that triggered it. I'm sure if you guys have heard of it or maybe not, but yeah, it was enough for me to want to clip it off and play it here. So you'll get to hear him talk shit. So we'll get into that in a little bit. And then, yeah, there's not a whole lot else going on, like massive things. Just a little bit of boxing and Jon Jones news a little bit, not much. Yeah, and then a fight coming up this weekend. So, but Infinity has upgraded himself a little bit here and there.
Wee little bit.
Well, between everything though, since you started, it's like you got a mixer, you got a new computer, you got a new mic. The newest thing is your mic and your mic arm.
Yep.
So we're both rocking the pod mic, which if you're interested in podcasting, it's a pretty affordable way to get a really reliable mic. So not me out here, giving free plugs to Rode, but listen, I'm powered by Rode in various ways. So I guess I'll throw it out there because I'm loyal to Rode right now. So I had a Rode mic before this one too. It was a Rode USB mic that I liked a lot, actually. It was my favorite mic until I got this one. And the pod mic is kind of basic when it comes to podcasts, but I mean the fucking thing is called a pod mic. It's made for podcasting.
It's basically like a standard. It's a standard.
Yeah. And on top of that, I mean, you see a lot of big podcasters, they're using the Shure SM7B, but that's a pretty pricey version of a mic that I don't know. You don't really need it. You don't really need it. If you want to just, show it off, that's, but you don't really need it. Of course, the sound quality is enough of a difference to notice, but if you aren't listening that close, you would never notice. So
that mic takes a lot of gain too. So if you have a little cheap mixer, it's not going to help you.
Yeah, I watched a video on what you need in order to, what people think you need to do is just go out and be like, oh, I'm going to be a baller on a budget, but spend this money on this mic, and then realize you're actually going to have to be about $200 to $300 extra into that mic as on top of the $300 you're going to spend on that mic. So that's about 3 times what you would spend on this mic. So, and this mic is dope. I like it. I like the look of it. I like the way it sounds, and it's fairly simple and reliable. So
that's pretty heavy duty. But if people do get it, just keep in mind that thing's like 2.5 pounds. So
yeah, you got to get a quality arm. Magix has found that out. You got to get a quality arm in order to hold that thing up. So, I still have the Elgato mic arm, the boom arm.
Boom?
Yeah.
Boom style? Yeah.
So I still have that one with a pod mic on it. You could see the pod mic in the background over here. That's my road mic, like literally on the road. And also when I have a third person in here. So, but Magic's got a Rode mic as well. If you were watching the watch party on Saturday, you heard both Infinity and Magic's on their new mics. So,
oh yeah,
yeah, we've done a lot of podcasting recently, just to just to get everybody acclimated to their new mics.
It's like
But it's
every other
fun.
day.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's pretty apparent you're enjoying yourself with the podcasting venture.
I'm loving it. I'm loving it. I'm seeing how I can continue it when I do have to go back to, we'll call it reality.
Yeah.
So I can still guess for people, but some of the days I've been doing it consistently, I work. So we'll
Right.
get it figured out. I like it. Plus, I'm kind of vested now, so
Mm.
I'm not gonna have all this shiny, pretty kit for nothing.
Yeah, I was surprised when you started buying stuff. I was like, ooh, maybe he's gonna have something of his own going on.
It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. Plus, it's a double-edged sword, right? Like I've always been a gear snob, so I'm like, ooh, that's
That's
cool.
true.
And it's easy to justify because this mixer is also connected to turntables and everything else, so it's
Yeah,
easy to
just
justify.
judging off of everything else that you've shown that you have, I'm like, I shouldn't be surprised. But you talked in the beginning like, oh, this is just gonna be for fun. I just bought a cheapy mic, and and
Yeah,
then you fell into it. The
that was 4
quicksand.
mics ago.
What up, Vulcan Arctic in the chat? Everybody, the chat is open. Talk to us if you want. If you got questions, try to be nice. Don't be weird. I mean, we've had a lot of weird people on the Technically Unsound podcast that we go live on Tuesdays and Sundays. Check that out if you want to hear me and Infinity talking about stuff other than MMA. But yeah, we've had some weird interactions in the chat on
I
that.
don't know where some of these people crawled up out of. They can
Well,
crawl back in there though.
yeah, but I appreciate the people that want to come in here and be real and chat with us about whatever. You know, you don't have to agree with everything we say or, anything like that, but you don't have to be a dick either or be super weird.
That
And
part.
I mean like outright weird. Like anybody that read that chat would be like, what is happening here? Because it's obviously someone messing around.
Yeah, someone needs some help.
Do you think Reese, Morales, Barallo, and Ofley win? I haven't. I didn't even make my picks this week because I honestly thought I was gonna be super late today. So usually I would say stick around and you'll find out, but I didn't make my picks. I was just gonna pick on my way through, previewing the fight and going over the fights. How do you guys see Edmund Mearshart going? So Edmund and Mearshart is definitely one of those fights that I'm super interested in.
Yeah.
And that's, I mean, being the first fight on the main card, it's gonna be fun. So as far as I'm concerned, that's gonna be a fun fight, and it's definitely close. Shabazi and Mearshart, those are just two guys that are willing to go at it, and I like GM3 a lot, but Edmund has been around for a while, and I've known him since he jumped in and was training with Ronda Rousey and stuff. So, I don't know. I don't know how I picked that right now. Vulcan says, "Does Infinity have picks?"
Nah, yes and no. Most of the time, I mess with E and pick the opposite.
Yeah.
But we'll get to the picks from that last pay-per-view. That I'm sure we're going to go over that. And the one that I did pick backfired on me. So don't listen to me.
Yeah. I like going over everything. I think too deeply into all of it. So my picks always wind up being because I like the person or because I think about things too hard and too closely, and then I'm like, I'll just pick this one because I'm pretty sure. And even when I pick the favorites, I fucking lose. So I'm not gonna bet anymore.
I'm biting my tongue.
Yeah, but honestly though, Mearshart and Shabazian, that's gonna be a great fight. I'm actually looking forward to that one to start off. Berhalio and Cannoneer. That's a good main event too. I mean, this is a way better fight night card than it was
Mm-hmm.
the week before 305. That card was trash. It sucks. It really does suck that it was that bad. But yeah, we're gonna get to all that here in a few. I usually like to structure things in a way because I prep that way. So we're gonna get to all of it here. If you want to stick around, Vulcan, and listen to a little bit more in depth. I don't get crazy in depth. I'm not super professional over here. I don't have the time to do all of the deep dives, but I do gather lots of information throughout the week. So
You'll like it. You'll
yeah,
like the slides and everything too. The pictures, you'll like that.
yeah, we definitely have visuals and stuff, and that way, as you could tell, I like visuals with that background we got going on. it's a,
Background is dope.
it's a
I
little
was looking
crazy,
at some
but
roller skates when I first seen it. I was like, oh, okay, that's
right.
what we're doing today. Cool.
Yeah, no, I like the colorful, crazy, psychedelic type
I like it.
look.
It's dope.
Yeah, but and if you look at Infinity's background, you can tell that he's obviously not sitting in a cage, but it is very good for the podcast, and it looks dope, and it's a pretty good fake background. So
Yeah,
yeah,
that part.
it's nice.
Trial and error, trial and error.
Yeah. Yeah, so you got anything else happening? So you're supposed to head back from because you had the injury and everything. You're supposed to be heading back in the next couple months or something?
So the injury happened in May 4th, 5th. Had the emergency surgery the 13th. For those that are kind of new to the channel, I ruptured my Achilles tendon, which is the largest tendon in your body, and it takes a lot to heal it, a lot of time, a lot of patience, and a lot of physical therapy. So right now I'm doing PT 3 times a week, about an hour Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, and they're getting it in, beating me half to death. But it's working. So now I can actually stand on the tip of my toes a little bit. I can walk in shoes, stuff like that. So yeah, I have a follow up the beginning of next month, September 3rd or 4th. And after that is I believe if everything looks well, I go back to my 9 to 5 October 5th, which is a Sunday.
Damn. Okay.
Yeah, so it's going on. It'll be about 5 months or so by the time, if everything looks okay now, before I actually get back to normal. And I still won't be 100%. I'll never be 100% again, but I'll be closer to 100% after about a year.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah,
pretty
and
brutal.
you know, we've heard of plenty of those injuries. Jamal Hill had that same injury.
Yep.
Aaron Rodgers had it in football. There's, plenty of guys have done it. It's just they're high level, super elite
Yeah.
athletes with a lot of reach as to how to get a lot of high level doctors on their side to
And they're about
help with
half
the
our
healing.
age.
Yeah, and also they're a lot younger. Well, not so much with
Some of
Aaron
them are,
Rodgers.
but yeah, but a majority of them are mid 20s, late
Yeah,
20s, early 30s. Yeah, we
right.
passed it a while ago, so all
Yeah,
that adds up.
yeah, but I mean, it's good that you're gonna be able to get back and everything. But yeah,
Yeah,
it'll be weird not having you around all the time like we have been. It's
yeah,
been
yeah. We'll
some
we'll figure
months.
something out. Maybe we can alternate something.
Yeah,
So we'll definitely. Plus Thursdays I'm off, so even if it's just every other, we'll get it going
right
because
on.
I like it. It's fun. I like working with you, seeing new people on here. Plus I got everything to make it work now. So
Yeah, yeah, you definitely put in the effort, so it's nice to have somebody that's willing to do all that and is involved. That's what I was telling my wife the other day. I'm like, I know this isn't a podcasting podcast, but I still talk
right,
about it all because, you know, I realized the other day that I'm still new at this. Really, I mean, I may have been doing it. It was actually my 2 year anniversary of starting the podcast yesterday.
that's
So
dope.
yeah,
Congrats.
2 years in. Um, 2 years into the Going Rounds podcast, and here we are. I mean, it hasn't grown like crazy fast, but I've definitely seen some growth, and I'm happy that people have shown interest, and I appreciate all the support I've had out there from all my friends and family and strangers that just jump on and have good conversation. Vulcan in here, someone
Yep.
new that I've never seen. Not sure if he's subscribed or not, but if you're not, please subscribe. That helps. Like the video too. I mean, and share it and comment, stuff like that. All that stuff helps me out with the algorithm and everything. So helps YouTube know that people like it and should present it to more people. So that'd be great. But yeah, I appreciate everybody with all the support and stuff. And I didn't even realize it was my 2 year until some like Facebook memories or some memories came up, and I was like, oh
Scrolling.
shit. Yeah, it was like my intro video where I was just introducing the fact that I was doing a podcast. So
You can
pretty
see the
crazy.
quality difference though.
Oh yeah.
Huge quality differences.
Yeah. Big time. Big time. So um yeah, and I can hold a conversation better and talk a little better than I was very timid and yeah, it was tough. It was tough. It's tough listening to myself at all, but listening to myself back then, oh my God, cringy to me at least. So I know a lot of us are that way, but Yeah, I listen back to make sure for the quality and to possibly find content to clip off and put out there. So I have to listen to all of it, and a lot of times I'm like, ugh, but that's fine.
Part of the process. Part of
It
the process.
definitely is. So yeah, 2 years in, here we are. You know, meeting new people, talking to new people, and having new people on. It's always fun. And I got some I got couple, you know, some fun stuff coming up. So that'll be great. And yeah, we're just gonna keep it going with the watch parties. Anybody else that's new here and stuff, we have watch party podcasts on during the pay-per-view main cards for the big pay-per-views. So all the pay-per-views really, if as long as I can do it, because I do have another I do have other things that going on and I have a regular job. So as long as I don't have anything going on, we're doing watch parties. And you can see the guys from the other podcast we're on, Technically Unsound. Go like and subscribe over there. But yeah, we do that podcast with Magix and Tommy, and they jump in on the watch parties a lot too. Sometimes I do them by myself here in the studio with some guests. Sometimes I don't have them on, but all the time I'll have somebody here with me talking about the fights and watching them with us. So it's cool. Check it out.
It's been fun. It's a lot more relaxed. Like we're hanging back drinking. We see the same thing you guys see. So
yeah, so you guys can just watch along and listen to us bullshit and talk and react live to all the fights.
Lose money with me.
Yeah, and we're making bets and everything else between each other and bets online, stuff like that. So it's fun. So check it out. But yeah, unless you got anything else you want to talk about before we get into it, we can just jump in.
Just enjoying life. You know, these storms out here. So anybody in the AZ, Mesa, Phoenix area, just be careful out there because there's more supposed to be coming through. There's a lot of down trees, but other than that, let's get it.
Yeah, there was a lot of weather happening around town down here too. I'm in Arizona as well, just in a different part. So yeah, I didn't see a lot of rain during the day, and we haven't really gotten any out here where I live, but I was all over town today, and yeah, it was looking pretty dark.
I was almost late because there's so much going on out there. So
yeah,
but we're here now, so ready to roll.
Cool. Yeah, let's get into it. Let's start with some combat sports news. If I can get my stream deck to work, there we go. So we'll start off with Merab Posts. He is headlining the September 14th Sphere card in Vegas, and he's fighting Sean O'Malley. So, you know, that's obviously important because Dana White has talked about over and over and over again how much money he spent just getting this Sphere card together. And they're already about $20 million in. And, you know, so they obviously have a lot invested. And then we get this Merab Monday or Tuesday, I don't remember exactly what day it was, that he's posting a live video of him getting stitched up and cleaned up after this cut happened. So you can see it's not a very big cut, but it's I would say kind of deep. You can kind of see some muscle tissue in there.
It'll be easy to open back up.
Yeah, especially when you're getting hit in the face all the time. Whether it's with gloves or even headgear could probably pop that thing open. So he's gonna have to be careful, which affects his training. So
and the fact that he posted it, but I know you're gonna get into that.
Yeah, the fact that he posted it is the dumbest part. So obviously that's where we got this picture. You know, I wish I was friends with Merab and got pictures directly sent to me, but I'm not. So I saw this along with everybody else, and yeah, it was just a good indication of what was happening here. So it just sucks that he got this cut. But even Dana, you know, you'll see in a minute where he talks about it because I'm gonna play that clip. But even Dana says it is a small cut and everything should be fine. But it's the principle of the whole thing that he's online live getting cleaned up and getting stitched up. It's like, dude, what are you doing? Just not smart, really. It puts a lot of things in jeopardy. You know, the commissions may have a problem with it. They're going to be looking at him closely when it comes closer to the fight time. So, and when they check him out, they're definitely going to be paying attention to that eye. And if they see something they don't like, there's a possibility of, you know, not letting him fight. So
I know if that was me, that'd be a target.
Yeah, and that's exactly it. That's the other thing.
Mhm.
It's a target. You're letting your opponent know where your weakness is, like right away. Something that's vulnerable, something that's easily opened back up, which means
Mhm.
right over his eye too. So you know that blood will drip in there.
Yep.
And it's never good when you get a cut that big that's gonna bleed a lot. So
Easy way for a stoppage.
yeah, so of course Dana White's Contender Series has started up. We're in this week was week 2, and they do press conferences afterwards to talk about the fighters that got contracts, any of the happenings throughout the night. But of course, there's also other things that get talked about there, including anything going on social media with any of the fighters or any news or any possible matchups. There's always something that everyone in the media wants to talk about other than Dana White's Contender Series that night. So they'll start off with questions right away to show some interest in what happened that night, but then they quickly turn it into what's happening with this, what's happening with that, what's your plan here, what's your plan there, what's going on with this guy. So they do a lot of that, and that's where this next clip comes from, where Dana White basically calls all UFC fighters dumb. Sure you need context with that, and we're gonna provide that here in just a second. But that's the gist of it. Dana basically calls them all dumb and says that, you know, compared to boxing, like they don't know how to keep a secret, basically, and that Merab's a fucking idiot and everything else. So let's go ahead and move into this clip because it's pretty funny, but at the same time, it kind of sucks that he went this hard in. So let's go. Let's check it out.
The whole world knows about Merab's cut. He posted it. I mean, our guys are so dumb.
What's that?
It's next level, unbelievable. It's all the stuff that I talk about boxing. What I will give boxing is when something happens in a camp.
Can you
I see
hear
his
them?
mouth moving. I'm gonna check right now. It's on the stream.
Okay. Hold on. I might have a way to make sure that you hear it.
You can let it go.
Okay.
Sorry. I know what he said.
Yeah.
Most of it.
All right, here we go.
I don't know if everybody else could hear it. My bad.
Yeah, no problem. I'm glad you said something.
Man, let me tell you what, it does not leak. You know, our guys can't fucking wait to throw it up on social media. It's a small cut. It's no big deal, but.
So there he is saying it's a small cut. It's no big deal. And before that, he was talking about boxing and how basically the UFC guys just can't fucking wait to put it on social media.
Yep.
So
doing it for the gram. Do it for the gram.
Yeah. So it's like, and it's true, you know, but I mean, I don't know where these guys are doing. Like, do they think that, oh, okay, I'm going to say, oh, I'm not like everybody else. I'm not going to drop out. I'm not going to pull out of the fight. Or is it that they're just basically, you know, trying to show and prove that even with an injury of any sort, that they're going to be, you know, still into fight and that they're tough. I don't know. I don't know what the purpose of it is. It doesn't really make sense.
If it was me, I'd show it after, not before.
Yeah. Yeah. So I get, you know, videoing everything and then showing it after, like you said, that makes sense. I can understand that. And also because, you know, you might be sharing it with people that you are close to, but why the fuck are you going live? So let's see what else he had to say here.
But obviously needed to be posted.
Against a guy like O'Malley, who's a sharpshooter and who's a very accurate puncher, now all of a sudden there's a big target for him.
And why the fuck would you want him to know that?
So he just said, you know, about what Infinity was saying, which was it's a target. That's what the media guy said was, and you know, against somebody who's like Sean O'Malley, for it to be put out there, it's a fucking target, obviously. And Dana's just ruthless, just like, why the fuck would you put it out there?
Yeah, he was not happy. Look at his face.
Yeah,
he was not happy.
Let's keep going.
Sean O'Malley's a striker, so
yeah.
Next level stupid.
Next level stupid.
Some of these guys are so stupid. It's mind-boggling.
He's so mad.
The whole world knows about.
So, you know,
I'm waiting for like steam to come out.
Yeah, and you know, he says some of these guys are so stupid, but this part at the beginning, because I kind of skipped over because I was worried about the audio.
Merab's cut. He posted it. I mean, our guys are so dumb.
Right there, he says our guys are so dumb, and I'm just like, holy shit, bro! Like you're just saying, he just called out the whole UFC saying that they're so dumb.
And didn't care, didn't blink, nothing.
No, didn't hesitate whatsoever. So, yeah, I mean, I understand the frustration. Like I was saying before, there's so much money involved, and they're in so deep that, like, of course, he wants everything to go off without a hitch, and there not be any problems. He says he can't wait for it to be over because he wants to see the outcome, and he wants everybody to see what they're doing because it's going to be big. But he's also ready for it to be over because of how much work it is.
It's insanely expensive.
And yeah, and the money. So like it's so expensive that they have partnered with Riyadh season with the Saudis, and they have their money backing now. So it's called actually labeled Riyadh season Noche UFC. So you got the Saudis doing a Mexican event, Noche UFC for Mexican Independence Day, and it's all happening in Las Vegas with the main card that are two guys that are not even Mexican.
Money is money.
Lot going on.
The money is green, though. They know what they're looking at. Oil money is just more money.
That's a highly anticipated fight because a lot of people think that Merab has a very good chance of doing very well against Sugar Sean, but Merab gets hit a lot, and you know he's constantly taking shots, and Sean O'Malley is no one to fuck with when it comes to taking his punches and his kicks in that division.
That's a goofy dude, but he's accurate.
Yeah, and that's the other thing. Precision, he's got it. And that's why that cut is a target, and that's why it's dumb for Merab to have put that shit out there. Now, maybe it's because he's been making all these videos on social media. You know, I don't know if you've seen any of them on TikTok, but holy shit. He goes in on he's got the fake Sean O'Malley that he's constantly doing videos with and fucking with. Don't get me wrong. It's funny. It's a good production. And you know, it's entertaining, but it's almost like I hope he's putting as much effort into his training as he's putting into these videos.
We're going to find out. We're going to, what is it, Tyson? If everybody's got a plan until they get punched in the mouth?
Yeah. And so I'm wondering, like, did he show it because he's like, you know, everyone's going to probably see it in a video. I have to make videos, you know, like maybe he can't help himself. So maybe he decided, oh, I'm just going to show it. So no one sees it in the videos. They'll already know, but it wasn't very smart.
We shall see.
And yeah, and he's got a lot of good guys that are his teammates. His team in general is good. So it's tough to understand why anybody would just allow him to do whatever, but it is what it is. I guess he's his own man and he's going to do what he wants. So yeah, weird choice though. Very weird choice. So as you can see in the background there, Dana White's Contender Series, that did happen this past Tuesday. It goes on every Tuesday night. And I was talking about last week about the fact that they start early, and I was kind of wishy-washy about the time because I couldn't remember. But in Arizona, it starts at 4 p.m. So I'm like barely getting home and stuff. So I did watch
Tuesday,
a couple,
right?
Yeah, Tuesday. So I did start watching it. I watched that Finney versus Ralston fight. And everyone was talking up this Finney guy, but he got fucking annihilated by Dana as well. And I did want to cut that out, but at the same time I'm like, fuck, dude, it was brutal. He's like, you're gonna get annihilated in the UFC, and you need to go out and get about 2 or 3 more fights this year and do better, because basically what he showed that night was not good enough, even though I believe he won. So
yeah, he was talking about his age and everything. It's like, what, 25 or something like that?
Yeah. So basically saying he's young enough to be able to take a little more time, get a little better, hone his skills in a little more.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So hopefully he does that, because Dana was not happy. And we've seen a couple nights like this where Dana gets crazy on the fighters that fight. There's been guys that have been passed up for contracts even though they had a great win, because the rest of the night was horrible. And Dana was like, fuck everybody here tonight. I'm not giving anybody anything. And he didn't. So it's happened a couple times. But we all know Dana's ruthless like that, doesn't give a fuck. And that's admirable in some parts, but it sucks for the guys that get, are casualties of, innocent bystanders and all that bullshit. So Gustafsson versus Pitlick, Kuniev versus Kunha, Romius versus Imperato, Rouston versus Finney, and Brand versus Hedon. Talk about a fucking lineup of names, man. Holy shit.
Gonna be a bunch of initials by the time we're done.
Yeah, I'm just like, it's just too much. But we're looking at what? I don't even know what that first flag is. I think it's
Is that
Czech?
Finland?
No, maybe Finn. I don't know. You got Canada, you got Dagestan, looks like Brazil, everybody all over the place. So a couple guys from the US. So that would be the reason why those names are so difficult. But here's the winners of the contract. 4 guys got the contract this night: Hadan, Ramius, Kuniev, and Gustafsson. So that Gustafsson guy fucking looks like a beast, and he fought like one too. There was a still frame picture that I saw where he was like looking like he's throwing an elbow, but the guy had his mouth open. They caught the picture right at the spot where it looks like he's biting him.
Brutal.
Yeah.
Brutal.
Yeah, so that was probably what looked like the funnest fight on the card, but I didn't get to watch it all the way through. And it's been a busy week, so I didn't get a chance to go back. But it's all good. There's your contract winners for Dana White's Contender Series. I like to touch on it at least because these so many people have come from this night of fights that they collect people from. It's like a good way to feed into the UFC. I've said it before: Sean O'Malley, Jamal Hill, a lot of guys came from Dana White's Contender Series. It's been going on for a few years now. So I always like to touch on it because it's like one of those things where you see the name a few times, you talk about it a little bit, and you never know. The next thing is you see them having a great fight in their like full-on UFC debut, and then they're working their way up fast, and shit happens sometimes, and you get to all of a sudden see one of the guys you watched on Tuesday night become a star, like Sean O'Malley. So
that's the only pathway they really have. It's not like you can take a degree in ass whooping.
Right. I mean, there's some feeder leagues and stuff like that, and then the Ultimate Fighter's still going, but it hasn't been what it used to be, and I'm surprised it's still going. We'll see how much longer that continues. Yep. But this is the main way. Like Dana said it before, this is the ultimate the ultimate job interview, basically. So you do well here, and you make your way into the UFC.
Yep.
So anyway, let's move on to some other news. We got Jon Jones with the series of tweets here because he's been going back and forth with people about fighting Tom Aspinall, fighting Alex Pereira, trying to convince people that the Miocic fight is worth it and worthy of everything. But everybody has their doubts because Stipe hasn't fought in like 4 years, and he went out on a bad KO. And John's been kind of wishy-washy too with being in and out. Hasn't took a few years off or something like that, and then comes back and gets hurt right away. We didn't get to really see a lot from him in the heavyweight division because it was such a fast fight. So what are you pouring over there? Some alcohol? Damn. Handle.
I was in a hurry. I didn't get to put my little go bag together.
Shit,
so I just brought everything in here.
Yep.
Like nothing to see here.
Tuesday nights and Sunday nights, we do a lot of drink tasting and reviews for different like seltzers and stuff like that. If you haven't heard about what we do on Tuesdays and Sunday nights on the Technically Unsound podcast, technical talk, gear talk, and drink reviews. So it's fun, but we all like to enjoy a drink and it loosens us up a little bit here on the podcast. So it's fun.
Pretty much.
But anyway, Jon Jones talking about how he's like getting serious and just, possibly is throwing it out there a little more serious this time about the fact that after the Miocic fight, he might actually call it a day and retire.
It's time.
I think it might be. I mean, I feel like he does have a couple of these big fights that he could, if he won, but I don't think it's necessary. Like, I mean, he's done what he's done.
I mean, maybe 1 or 2, but he's not bouncing back and healing like he used to either.
Yeah.
So
he gets
his
hurt.
body's gonna tell him if his brain don't.
Yeah, and he's up there in age too. He's done plenty. He's got enough money. So, and he doesn't seem to be I mean, he used to seem to be one of those guys that if he wasn't fighting, he's getting in a lot of trouble.
You used to, yeah.
Yeah, as of late, it hasn't been that way so much anymore. So maybe he's figured some shit out, and that's why he's actually, you know, releasing it out there that it might be almost time for him to go away. But
Comes with age, maturity.
yeah, I mean, he's
What's
proven.
wrong?
A lot of people think he's the GOAT, and there's a good argument for it, and I don't deny it. I just don't know that I feel like he's the overall GOAT of MMA. But those talks are so tired at this point. It's like people are great in their own regard, and they're great in their own eras. You know, during this chunk in this era of the UFC, this was the best person. That's the way I think it should be. This was the GOAT of that era. This was the GOAT of that era. You could break it down to the GOAT of that division. You know, that's fine too. But overall, like ever, like greatest of all time means you're the best of everyone that's ever done it. So, you know, that GOAT word gets thrown around like fucking, you know, toilet paper in a bathroom. So
he's 37. Like, it's how much more beating do you want before you just don't come back from it and end up really messed up for life?
Yeah. And so, I mean, here's what he said. They said there are fighters literally all over the world that think in the back of their mind, I can beat Jon Jones. There will be no statues of you. Go out and win more. Make your name greater. That is the only way you can do it. I'm assuming he's talking about all these kind of somewhat up and comers that have been, you know, had his name in their mouth or whatever. But just a generalized comment, I guess. He continues saying, I guess there was a video resurfaced recently of me saying that after Stipe Francis was the only fight I was interested in. The video was recorded over a year ago. That was recorded before I got injured, before there was an interim champion crowned. I had already voiced that I wasn't interested in any more randoms. Now magically I'm ducking a fight that's never been negotiated or discussed at any table that matters. LOL, I'm sticking to my plans. Jon Jones jumps for no one. How many belts does one need? How many times do I have to break my own record? Because yeah, he's got the record for, I guess, the most title fights and wins and all that good shit. He said, I'm 37 years old now. I've kicked everyone's ass. My job is to finish strong and make an amazing movie. Go join Tom Brady, Floyd Mayweather, and all the other retired badasses. And then someone, I guess it sparked some of this, said, kick Tom's ass, then, or are you too scared? He said, it feels good to know on the way out your sport was literally begging you to continue. You never know. Maybe the UFC will offer me a deal I can't refuse. So see, he's leaving the door open. That's what he does. That's how it always works. So this was just something I thought was interesting, you know, but he's always on X and always just talking shit or revealing this, that, or the other thing, or just talking about how he's going to do this or that. So I don't know. He's very active on social media.
Nothing else to do.
But he mentioned Floyd Mayweather, and that's where we're going to go next. We got Floyd Mayweather versus John Gotti III fighting this weekend. It's an exhibition match like they had before. This is a rematch. The first one ended because I think it was either low blows or blows to the back of the head, or, you know, I don't remember even what the fuck happened. But, you know, Mayweather's got this whole shit where he's doing exhibition fights and fighting cans, basically, making himself look good and making money like he needs it. But, yeah, so John Gotti III is who he's fighting this weekend, and it ended in a brawl last time, in a massive, crazy brawl with all kinds of people in the cage. There was like, I mean, not any different than any other end of a boxing match where there's like 85 people in the ring. This time there was about 185 people in the ring. It looked like ants, and there's fucking arms swinging everywhere. Shit got crazy. So we'll see what this what kind of highlights we get after this one. And if you don't see any, it's probably because it was just boring as fuck. Mayweather just put in work and not even breaking a sweat, probably. Because
the Zone, I believe, at 7.
I don't even know.
August 24th, The Zone, 7 p.m.
There you go. Because I didn't even look that deep into it because I didn't really care that much.
I'm just looking right now.
No, for sure. That's you gave more info. You added. That's great because I didn't even have that. I didn't even bring up a page for it.
I had a little bit of notes, and because who follows Mayweather anymore? He's dope for what he was, but
exactly.
that was a while ago.
And what's weird is something started getting passed around on social media recently about fucking him fighting Khabib. But everybody knows Khabib's not fighting anymore. So I don't know why the fuck this surfaced all of a sudden again.
Yeah, I don't know.
But
It's money.
stupid. It's stupid is what it is. And because I know for a fact there's no way Khabib's coming back, especially it's not gonna happen. So
Not worth it.
it is what it is. Let's get to the recap of UFC 305. Happened last weekend, pay-per-view. Dricus du Plessis versus Israel Adesanya for the middleweight championship.
That's how I feel about that.
Yeah, and I'm sure by now most people know the outcome. Unfortunately, Israel Adesanya lost. It's the way he lost. It's kind of weird and kind of sucks. But overall, I thought it was a pretty decent main card. The undercard wasn't great. There was a few good fights in there, notable fights in there, but nothing crazy. Let's see if I remember correctly. This happened in Australia. So there was some Australian fighters down at the bottom of the card. Jack Jenkins beat Herbert Burns, which Herbert Burns then retired, I guess. That is a Gilbert Burns' brother, but Jack Jenkins got the TKO in the third round for that win in the featherweight division. Casey O'Neill beat Luana Santos in the flyweight division. That was a unanimous decision win for Casey O'Neill, who proceeded to imitate Ray Gunn.
Oh yeah, I forgot about
The Olympic breakdancer that went viral for being horrible at breakdancing. She did her celebratory dance by mimicking those moves, and it was kind of funny because she's Australian herself, so she's making fun of her own, which made it funny. Ricardo Ramos versus Joshua Kulibau. That was a split decision win for Ramos in the featherweight division. And then Walter Walker versus Junior Tafa. Walter Walker is Johnny Walker's brother, and Junior Tafa is the other Tafa brother, Justin Tafa's brother. So a couple brothers of fighters that have been around for a while, fighting in the heavyweight division. Walter Walker gets a submission by heel hook over Junior Tafa, and that ended out the prelims. That brings us to the main card: Carlos Paredes versus Li Jingliang, the Leech. This was a pretty decent fight to start off the card. I mean, Paredes just gets at it quickly and stays active throughout the whole fight, throwing crazy dynamic strikes and sometimes talking some shit. And this, we were watching this on the watch party, so it was the first fight of the... What's that?
It was entertaining.
It was a pretty good fight. I mean, it ended in a KO by punches in the second round with Paredes getting the win. But I mean, there was action all the way through. I mean, it was 4 minutes into the second round, so it almost went the full second round before that finish happened. But this Superman punch here by Paredes was pretty fun. That shit came out of nowhere. We haven't seen one like that in a while, where it was just a straight up. Remember, back in the day, they used to do Superman punches like it
all
was
the time,
going out of style.
Yep.
So it was pretty funny. But more kicks for him, big head kicks. I mean, he was just putting on a show, and the Leech did not look great at all, taking big shots left and right, and then finally getting KO'd by punches in the second round. So that was the first fight on the main card. And then we get to the upsetting shit for me, because Tai Tuivasa earns his 5th loss in a fucking row. So I don't even know what to say, man. I don't even know what to say. Jairzinho Rozenstruik, like, he's pretty, I don't know. I guess he's pretty explosive, and he's pretty dynamic with his movement. So, and that's, I mean, Tai Tuivasa is just one of those guys that just moves forward and throws heavy punches. So
brawler, like a street brawler.
Yeah, and there's not a lot of technique behind it. There's not a lot of anything really, so it kind of sucks. But I like him a lot. He's a fan favorite because he's entertaining and he's funny. And it's usually fun to watch him fight. But man, 5-fight losing streak, spanning all the way back to 2022. So I mean, he had 2 fights in 22 that he lost. one fight in 2023, and then 2 fights this year, all losses. 2 submissions, 2 KOs, and a decision, which was this past one against Jairzinho Rozenstruik. But Jairzinho was just kind of having fun with it too. I mean, Ty looked like he got some shots in here and there, but nothing crazy. Jairzinho just showed why he's the higher level fighter.
Yep.
I hate saying that, but it's true.
It happened.
Yeah, and Ty's one of those guys that gets busted up easily when he gets hit, and he gets hit a lot, so that's unfortunate. So then he shows the damage, and that doesn't help. And a lot of his weakness is in those body shots, which, you know, these heavyweights, a lot of them got some guts on them because they're bigger guys. But I mean, Ty looks a lot better than he has in the past, but he just can't seem to hone in those skills. His defense is horrible. His takedown defense is horrible. His ground game is horrible. I mean, that's the majority of things you need to be successful in MMA. You can't just have KO power and think that's going to carry you through with these higher level elite guys. So it's unfortunate, you know, just taking lots of damage, big shots to the head, to the chin. I mean, it just continued on. So he got hit so many times that there was nothing but pictures of him getting hit, bloodied up, and getting hit over and over. It just fucking sucked. So there you go again. I mean, my boy Ty. So no shoey for Ty in Australia. So
Forgot about that.
yeah, I was looking forward to that. I was hoping to see it because it's nothing like a shoey happening in Australia with Tai Tuivasa, but it didn't happen. But there was some controversy here because there was one judge that we talked about during the watch party. Tommy was on the fucking button with this one where he was like, I hope they do something about this judge because, well, who the fuck would give him all 3 rounds? And he was right. This guy named Howie Booth who gave all 3 rounds to Tai Tuivasa has been relieved of his duties for the rest of the night. Jon Anik announced during the 305 podcast. So, dude, they took him out right away. Andrea Miani? I am Brazilian. Firstly, sorry for my horrible English. Hey, no worries. Do you know the greatest event of Latin America? Jungle Fights is insane. Yeah, I've heard of Jungle Fights. I've seen some highlights and stuff from it. Jungle Fights is pretty crazy, and there's been some pretty high level big names coming out of those events. So yeah, I have heard of it. You know, the Brazilians have been big in the UFC for a long time, and a lot of times that's kind of a lot of the fighters I used to follow when I first started watching MMA. So
the Gracies and everything, so it's always falling back to Brazil.
So many Brazilians: Anderson Silva, Vanderlei Silva, Jose Aldo. So many Brazilians. There's still a bunch of great Brazilians fighting today. It's definitely one of those places that has so many big names and big fighters that have come out of there. But Jungle Fights, I've always heard stories of Jungle Fights on podcasts from older fighters and just big talent that's come out of those fights. So yeah, definitely that's a good topic to bring up there. Thanks for the interaction. We appreciate that. So yeah, this judge got relieved of his duties right after this fight, which is hilarious. I think that should happen way more often because that was borderline like just insane to give him all 3 rounds. The next event we'll have is on Saturday. Oh, yeah, Jungle Fights are still going, huh? I wonder how you even watch it.
I was about to ask that. It's on a certain channel or the internet, like we can log in and see it?
I'm not sure. I've never actually sought it out. But you know, you'll catch highlights and stuff here and there. So, but yeah, I would like to know how to watch it in the US. I should probably check that out. But that's definitely something, one of those off-brand fights that you can watch and be entertained with, because there's some great fights that happen in that organization.
Yeah, brutal.
And you know, happening in Brazil, that's Jungle Fights. Just listen to that name.
Exactly.
So but like I said, just Tommy called it on that one. He was like, "What the fuck with this scorecards?" And yeah, that just looks suspicious as fuck. But that guy was way off, so it's good that they got him out of there. Moving on to Mateusz Gamrot versus Dan Hooker. I feel like this was damn near basically the fight of the night. I mean, this shit was fun. So Gamrot, the lives are in the Jungle Fight channel. Okay, cool. There we go. So it's probably Jungle Fight channel, probably here on YouTube, I'd assume. And it's free. Even better. Even better.
Yeah. Speaking my language.
Thanks for that info. We appreciate that. I'm definitely gonna have to check some of those out.
Ditto.
But Dan Hooker versus Gamrot, man, this was a fun fight. And you know, again, Hooker's one of those guys that takes a lot of damage, will take a punch to give a punch, and he loves it. And there's some funny shit of him saying that he loves it in his corner, which I'll play in a minute because that was too funny not to clip off and make sure I also made a TikTok from it. But
did you?
I did. But yeah, so you know, and I'm pushing buttons that aren't working. There we go. So Gamrot got some in there in the beginning of the fight, you know. I mean, of course, because he's a great striker too and a great fighter overall. But he, a lot of people were high on the fact that he was gonna, you know, take the fight to Hooker and definitely be able to finish it. But it went the full 3 rounds. It was a split decision win for Dan Hooker, and he was hyped about it. Hooker just getting his shots in. You know, he's bloodied up, he's showing damage, but he's never giving up. The dude doesn't wake up until he gets hit, basically. When he sees that blood, it's like a second wind, a burst of energy, and it's like, holy shit, here we go. Dan Hooker fighting for the BMF title would be the shit, I think. But I think that would be a hell of a fight with him and Max Holloway. Wow. That would be insane.
That would be pretty dope.
But he is in contention now. Like, I think he jumped quite a bit in those rankings, so he's right there, maybe a fight away, or if not, you know, late call away from getting into a title fight. But here's his little blurb in the corner to his cornerman.
I love this shit.
He sounds like he's drunk. He's like, I love this shit.
I love this shit.
I'll get this eye glued back together.
Dude, he's so funny, man. Like,
He's something else.
I couldn't even believe how it was just like it was like watching your drunk friend fucking being all happy and
Literally.
yeah. So, but yeah, he got the win. So I mean, he definitely loves this shit because he took it to Gamrot, and everybody that doubted him had to eat their words because he got the win there. So that was good. And then another really good fight, Steve Erceg versus Kai Kara-France in the co-main event in the lightweight division. Oh, I'm sorry, the flyweight division. So Erceg is coming off that loss to Pantoja, where he was basically like he was around a few minutes away from getting the win and winning the title in just his 4th fight in the UFC. And he made a critical mistake of trying to take Pantoja down, and he got reversed, and Pantoja winds up on the end and steals that round and winds up, you know, keeping his belt. And Erceg unfortunately dropped that title. Fuck, I lost my words.
He made a crucial mistake.
He did. So anyway, coming off that loss, you know, that's one of those things where you don't know if how they're gonna bounce back or whatever. I mean, what did you think of this fight? I thought it was pretty good.
It wasn't too bad. You know, some nice back and forth. The dude is still making a name for himself because he's relatively new, but he deserves to be there. Is the vibe I got. Like it wasn't handed to him.
Right. Yeah, and the fact that Kai Kara-France has fought so many high-level guys and has been around for a while and has been so just good. Even though
there was no
through
ducks in there, I was like, he earned it.
Even fighting through all of his injuries and stuff. Unfortunately for me, I bet against Kai because I'm thinking Erceg has looked so good, made his way so quickly up to that title, you know, that title fight, and I was just like, man, I don't know that he's gonna come back. And about the next event of Jungle, Andre Monstro is a fighter of Halpao de Luta Academy. He's in the big coach of Altan Malhadinho.
He'll go to UFC if he wins that.
However, he will win, and after that, oh hell yeah! All right, so
That makes me want to watch it more.
Monstro, that sounds familiar. So I wonder if maybe he's in a maybe he's a teammate of somebody, or he's been involved in something. But I feel like I've heard that name before, so I definitely have to look that one up and check into it, because that definitely sounds familiar. But
Andre Miranda Monstro.
yeah. So we'll definitely have to keep an eye out for him, because if he gets his win and he is going to the UFC after, that'd be dope. So we'll have to definitely follow him there. Maybe we'll be talking about him soon.
Salvador, Brazil, 10-5-0 is his record.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah, he's got some fire under him. Okay.
Yeah. So Saturday, we'll have to check that out. What's happening?
I happen to be off.
Yeah.
Yeah. What time is it?
I'm thinking shit. I think I'll be able to watch it. I'm gonna have to put a note in my phone to make sure I watch that shit. But yeah. So Steve Erceg, he started off looking all right. I mean, him and Kai just went back and forth in the beginning. But Kai France was just fucking lit up, ready to go in his his kind of home field here, and he turned it around quick on Steve, landed a lot of shots, just looked really crisp and clean with his striking, and just looked good all the way around. I mean, it only went 4 minutes and 4 seconds into the first round of the fight, and Kai France gets the TKO by punches in the last minute of the first round. So, dude, Kai, for as small as he is, because I was saying before that Erceg looks so much bigger than him. It looks like he should be in the weight class above.
I agree. I was like, how the hell okay, it's a lot of weight cutting right there, but whatever.
But Kai is just small though, so that's the thing. I think he's just small for his division in general, but it is what it is. A lot. Maybe it's just because he's short that the motherfucker hits hard.
Yeah, compact dude.
Yeah, so he hits hard as shit, and with these big punches, he winds up laying out Erceg, which started the end of the fight. And I mean, look at that.
Yeah.
How little does Erceg look there on the ground? And Kai's like, "Yup, I got his ass.
I did that."
Yep, and he finished that shit too. So. Good on Kai. I mean, I should have gone with my gut. Kai France is one of those guys I've followed for a while, and I like a lot. Those city kickboxing guys are badass. But yeah, unfortunately, fortunately for him, but unfortunately for Steve Erceg, yeah, he was not able to follow up that title fight with a big win. So he's got some work to do, but he's definitely talented, and I think he's gonna come back. And we're going to see him up there in contention at the top very soon, possibly fighting for another title fight.
So, my bad.
What's that?
My dog's up in the room. I'm like, get off me.
Oh. Yeah, so that leads us to the main event. And I thought this picture was pretty dope. The beginning of the fight. Israel Adesanya versus Dricus du Plessis at the beginning. I mean, Izzy looks locked in, man. I mean,
yeah.
He looked like he was ready to go the whole fight, the whole time, and he was looking good in the fight. I mean, he started off pretty strong, and they had a lot of back and forth, and it looked like Izzy of old for a little while there. But I mean, this thing went all the way to the 4th round, and it's not that he slowed down. I just think that a couple of different things happened during the fight near the end there that kind of got him, including taking some strikes. So
power didn't seem like what it used to be.
What's that?
The power just didn't seem like the power was what it used to be. He was touching him up. It just didn't seem like it was doing as much as it normally would. So like he would hit him 3, 4, 5 times, but it wouldn't do what it used to do. And then when he got countered, that's when it started sinking in. That's what I saw.
Yeah, and it seems like, I mean, it seemed like he was in way better shape than he had been in the last couple fights. But maybe Dricus just has a big fucking hard head, and maybe he's able to absorb that power and not let it affect him very much. So that could be the case.
Dude, so.
Yeah, he's definitely big. A lot of people say he's bigger than you think. Stupid live control panel says error again, but it should be fine. What's that?
Everything looks normal.
Yeah. What does Vulcan say? Adesanya pointed to the ground and got submitted. So yeah, I heard something about that. I heard something about that. Izzy said on I believe it's his brother's podcast or something he did right away after the fight. He said that he was pointing down because he rolled his ankle, and basically he was telling Dricus like, hey, you didn't drop me. I fucking rolled my ankle, or I tripped or some shit he was saying. But he did say in that interview as well, he did say that that he couldn't remember, like he didn't know if he got hit or if he just tripped. He was like, it felt like I tripped, but I couldn't like clearly remember at the moment whether I got hit. And he did get hit. He kind of got clipped, like, you know, grazed a bit, but it wasn't like a flush hard hit. So I don't know. Me and Magix were actually going back and forth about that because Magix was like, no, he tripped. Didn't you see it? And then I reposted that video on TikTok, and Magic saw it and goes, see, I told you. And I was like, no, I get it, but you can't deny the fact that he still got hit, like, and he got hit before that even.
Well, that's the thing, he wasn't all there when that happened, so even if that didn't do it, that topped it off.
He said, Vulcan said, I heard that too, but when I saw it, I was like, now it will happen. And he got subbed a bit after. Yeah, no, there's no denying it at all. I was just going off of what Izzy said. I did watch it back again, and I mean, anything could be true. Like, it did look like he, you know, but it almost looked like when people get hit in that nerve that gives them that drop foot, where they like they try to move and their ankle just rolls because they don't have, you know, control of their limb at the moment. So I mean, that could be true, and I'm not gonna just be a homer for Izzy right now because I like him more than I like Dricus, but yeah, I mean, either way, the end result is undeniable. He got subbed. You know, he after getting I have a lot of pictures of Izzy landing punches because he really was looking so damn good in the beginning of the fight, through the middle of the fight.
He was putting it on him. It just wasn't doing his normal damage.
Even Dana White said that DDP looks like a white guy dancing. He fights like a white guy dances.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
No rhythm and no real, like, which I thought was hilarious. I mean, for Dana was on one this week, bro. Like, I don't know what the fuck. He was just on another level. But
yeah, he was something else.
Yeah, that shit was funny. And I get what he's saying, and I get where he's coming from with that. But you know, regardless, DDP keeps winning. I mean, he's got the belt. He's now defended the belt successfully, so he's winning. So it is what it is. This white boy can dance, apparently.
Yeah,
so,
he should be in the Olympics.
Yeah, bless you. Yeah, that's definitely the kind of dancing he does. But yeah, once he turned it on, man, Dricus just started getting the best of Izzy. And then, you know, he takes him down a couple different times. He got him down to the ground, like, kind of with ease too. I mean, Izzy,
I'll be right back.
You're good. Izzy was able to kind of get to the point where he was having good takedown defense and getting back up quickly, but Dricus was relentless with those takedowns. And you know, this wasn't necessarily where it started with that submission, I don't believe, but because that was more, I tried to find pictures too of where Izzy did that whole little ankle roll / whatever the fuck happened there, but I was really looking for the hit. I wanted to see the hit again in a still frame kind of form, and I couldn't really find it. There's a lot of good pictures out there, but sometimes you can't really find what you're looking for on every single aspect of, you know, the fight and what happened throughout the fight. So it is what it is. I get what I can get, and I'm happy I can find most of these pictures. But this was when DDP wound up, you know, locking it in and fighting for that submission to be completed. As you can see, he's got his hands clasped together, which is never a good sign. Looking like it's in deep too. And then he locks in that sub with the hooks in, and everything stretches Izzy out. And the thing is Izzy just tapped so fast, man. I don't know why. Like, I'm just wondering, why did he tap so fast? Was it just because it was so deep and he was just like, it's either tap or go to sleep, and don't need to go to sleep? So maybe that's why. But it
I think
didn't
we
seem
were-
like he thought about it for very long.
I think we were all thinking that, like, bro, you really? You've been in tighter situations and got out before, or at least lasted a few more seconds. Like,
Yeah.
you can hold your breath more than 5-10 seconds.
That's why I'm thinking, you know, he might have gotten rocked a little bit. He says he didn't, or he doesn't remember getting rocked, but that might be the
But not
the
remembering is a sign of it.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, what do you mean? I was never there.
did I get rocked? But I get it, you know.
I was
Adren-
tired. I needed a nap in the middle of the octagon.
Yeah. I mean, adrenaline's high, and you know, the things are just happening
He's a
sometimes.
vet, though. This is not the first time he's been. You know what I mean? He's been doing this for so long.
Yeah.
It should be like second nature, in my opinion. But
Yeah, and that's why there's all these rumors about the fact that he was supposed to retire and he didn't. You know, DDP gets the win here after the sub and retains his title. Dana White wasn't there, so he wasn't wrapping the belt around him. I still haven't heard exactly why he wasn't there.
he
was
said
kinda
something about being in New York or something, but I don't remember
Yeah,
why.
I heard that too, but he didn't. He was out there like fucking hanging out with streamers and gambling or some shit. But it was kind of
Money
weird.
makes money.
Yeah, kind of weird that he wasn't there. But yeah, the rumors swirled about Izzy retiring, and even DDP said it in his post-fight speech. He was like, "Wait, is he gonna? He might even retire right now because Izzy was back there taking his gloves off." Izzy claims that it's because those new gloves are a little tighter. So, you know, after punches and shit that he, you know, he was like, I just needed my hands to, you know, I needed to release that and get rid of it. So I took the gloves off, but he did not put them on the ground. People are saying that everyone that was there said that he was supposed to retire, and then something changed and it didn't happen. He did take off the gloves though. You could see it here in the picture where he's, you know, it was good sportsmanship considering the bad blood between these two from the past and all that. It was nice to see them kind of bury the hatchet a little bit. But you know, that could happen again. Gregory RoboCop will be the next middleweight champion because Duplessis haven't beat. I mean, that's not far-fetched because RoboCop is good. Gregory Rodriguez is a damn good fighter, and he keeps showing how much better he gets every single time. So RoboCop is definitely one of those guys to look out for. He looked really good in his last fight too. So and his jiu-jitsu's the shit. I feel like jiu-jitsu isn't as big of a thing as it was back in the day because everyone kind of knows it and practices it so much these days. But I still think that jiu-jitsu is one of the best things you can master when it comes to MMA. But I think wrestling is one of the best bases for MMA. What were you gonna say?
agree in general. There's a lot more strikers now than there used to be. So not everybody is getting to the ground and still being confident and able to roll around and do all the different holds and everything. A lot of times, if you're hitting the ground, you might already be in trouble.
Right.
Unlike before, where, you know, people would hit them a couple times and their main thing was BJJ. So
Yeah.
some of these strikers, though, are basically boxers that can kick you.
And see, some people might like, this person's saying that, you know, because Duplessis doesn't have great BJJ, but some people might be like, what are you talking about? He just submitted Izzy. But you know, Izzy's not some crazy high level jiu-jitsu guy either. So if he did go up against RoboCop, he definitely wouldn't sub him that quickly. RoboCop would be able to reverse him or at least get out of it a lot easier and better than Izzy did. Izzy kind of just gave up.
That's what I thought when he did it. I was like, come on, bro, really?
Yeah, and we were all betting on him, so it's like, fuck.
It cost me a little bit.
Yeah, and I've been following Izzy for a while, so it's like, I mean, I was a big Bobby Knuckles fan, Robert Whittaker, so I was high on him, but when I saw Izzy come in, I was like, oh shit. And then when he fought Robert, I was like, oh no, because it just like you could just see it happen.
Yep.
And I didn't see this happening like it did.
I sure wouldn't have bet on it.
I thought maybe if anything it was gonna go all the way and he would KO Chinny. RoboCop would get KO'd stiff by Fajeda. Okay, Frederick Hoxenville in the chat going against RoboCop. Yeah, I mean, I understand because RoboCop does get hit a lot. That is something, you know, I was focusing on his pluses there and what he does master at, but RoboCop does get hit a lot, so he does have to be careful with that because Duplessis, as we've seen, definitely hits hard, and a lot of people have said that. Even Izzy said it, like, you know, he may not look like his technique is the best, but that power behind it, man, and the fact that he finds a way to hit you, that's dangerous. So I mean, RoboCop is great, but I understand what Frederick's saying, so I get it. You know, I see it from all aspects. That's why my betting game is tough. But anyway, that about does it for UFC 305. Let's move into this week's event. We got UFC Vegas 96. This also is housing the Ultimate Fighter finale. I think RoboCop versus Costa is a good fight. Paulo was talking about fighting him on the Jack. Oh yeah, I did. I heard that, Frederick, for sure. I definitely think that'd be a good fight. That'd be interesting as hell. I mean, Costa's one of those guys that can catch you with some punches, but his technique is kind of horrible. But that ground game would be interesting. I don't know. I think Costa's at that spot right now where I'm not sure how well he's gonna hang with some of these guys that are up and coming. But you know, he said it. RoboCop, his chin's a little suspect, so that's a tough one. But that would be a good fight to watch for sure. We might get to see that at some point in time. But we got the Jared Cannonier versus Kyle Brahalo. Sorry for Andrea in the chat that might be like you're butchering his name. I know, I'm sorry. But let's see. Bruno Ferreira is very dangerous. He was a selection judo of Brazil, but the power of history, the RoboCop about Amazon jungle in Brazil is amazing. Oh, yeah. Let's see. Got KO'd stiff by hit. Oh, okay. Yeah, that he's referring back. They're referring back to what Frederick said. Yeah. RoboCop is good.
RoboCop.
Yeah. RoboCop is good. But yeah, I think he'd have a tough time with some of these guys. It just kind of depends. Those are just watching him fight though is fun. So I'm down to see all of it happen and see what happens with any of it. But we got Jared Cannonier versus Kyle Bahalo this weekend. Well, with the finale of the Ultimate Fighter happening as well. I'm not sure. I mean, my daughter Trend watched the Ultimate Fighter all the way through, but I watched like the first 2 episodes and I was kind of turned off by it. I was just like, dude, this is tough. So I didn't really watch it all the way through, so I'll be straight up about that. Frederick said Bruno is powerful, that's about it. Looked horrible against Stoltzfus and gassed immediately, searching for a KO. Yeah, I hear you, man. Fuck, there's so many fights that happen these days. It's like keeping up with all of it is fucking tough.
It's almost impossible.
Yeah, but I mean, week for week, it's like you get to learn enough just trying to cover all of it. And there's just so many fights you got to move on so quick. It's like tough to even retain all of it. But again, the Ultimate Fighter happened, and if it went to the second or third, Stoltzfus was going to KO him. Yeah. Frederick's not a big RoboCop fan, apparently.
Apparently not.
I get it though. I understand what he's saying, that he's chinny. He does look, I mean, he does take shots and gets wobbled pretty easily. But I mean, he's still a pretty decent fighter in my opinion. But yeah, I don't know how he would do against some of these bigger hitters that you know are very strategic with their punches and have a lot of good techniques. So, but Cannonier versus Brahalo this weekend. The undercard is not a lot to talk about there. Fuck, man, I'm just looking through it right now. Zachary Reese versus Jose Medina in the middleweight division. Dennis Bazooka versus Francis Marshall in the lightweight division. And that's really it for the undercard out of notables. I mean, just not a whole lot going on down there unless you follow absolutely everybody, which is tough because there's a lot of guys and girls. So, oh, I'm talking about Bruno Ferreira. Oh, my bad. Okay, got you. Yeah, I didn't follow that one. Yeah, I should have known because the line before that did say Bruno. All right, my bad. Yeah, Ferreira. Okay, got you. But yeah, so we got Edmund Shabazian versus Gerald Mearshart, who Vulcan was asking about earlier. So with this one, I mean, Edmund, like I said, used to be a training partner with Ronda Rousey with her team and her coach Edmund. But I'm not sure who he's rolling with these days for a team. But he's 26 years old, 13-4 overall, 6-4 in the UFC. 1 submission win, no losses there, 11-3 in KO TKOs, and 1-1 by decision. And he's coming off a win against GM3 Gerald Mearshart. He's 10 years older, man, 36 years old, but GM3 is good. He's just doesn't seem to be able to put it all together to get up there in the rankings and stuff. So that's what's tough about that one. But look at how many fights he has, 36-17.
A lot.
That's
Some old school numbers right there.
Yeah, 11-9 in the UFC. So I mean, he's got a lot of losses, but Shabazian is coming off that win over AJ Dobson, and yeah, 28 submission wins for Gerald Mearshart. That's a fucking lot.
Yeah, I was looking at that like, damn.
But Shabazian's never been submitted in however many fights. What is that? 17 fights he's had. So
It was the first time for everything.
there is a first time for everything. He might take that O from him. GM3 is good on the ground. 6-4 by KO TKO and 2-5 in decision. So he doesn't do well in decision fights. He's coming off a win as well. Edmund Shabazian coming off that win over AJ Dobson by KO in the first round. This is his fight against Brad Tavares, which he got a win by head kick TKO, which you see here. So he does have kicks. He's got punches. And only that one submission win, which was over Jack Marshman. That was a rear naked choke. And then his opponent, Gerald Mearshart, which I say GM3 because that's his nickname basically. But yeah, with those 28 submission wins, of course you're going to show a submission here. He's coming off this win against Brian Barberena by face crank, which is this one right here. And that's because he doesn't have it under the chin. He has it across on the chin, so it's a face crank. Frederick said GM3 just has to survive one round, and that's 100% chance victory. Yeah, you're right. Edmund does gas out a lot because he tries to fucking go ham right away. And he just doesn't know how to space it out or make do with, or doesn't know how to keep it strategic, and technical. He just fucking goes all out. So yeah, he gasses fast. So GM3 has a good chance of getting another submission here, takes him down, or drops him and gets him to the ground and submits him. So that's the first fight of the night on the main card. Let's go to the next fight, which is a pretty good fight. Neil Magny, kind of old school, versus Michael Morales, newer guy, younger guy, 12 years younger, by the way. Magny's 37 and Morales is 25. But I feel like this would be a really good fight, actually, because Neil Magny has been involved in a lot of fucking boring fights, but it depends on what his opponent does. And Morales is one of those guys that comes out ready to go. Look at that, 11-0 in KO TKOs, 1-0 in submission, 4-0 by decision, 16-0 overall. And he's undefeated overall, obviously. What's that?
Both of them coming off wins too.
Yeah, Morales overall, he's never lost, so Neil Magny's gonna be trying to take that undefeated record. This is a trap fight. Got a feeling Morales will lose. You're not wrong, because Magny is one of those guys that can surprise you. He'll make the fight boring because he's trying to be as strategic as possible, and he's not going to jump into anything crazy. Look at how many fights he has: 29-11, 22-10 in the UFC, 17-3 by decision. 17 wins by decision. So that's what I'm saying. He's not going to jump into anything crazy. Morales might come after him, but he's not going to fall and get baited into that war. So he's got good fight IQ when it comes to that. And he's coming off a win as well. Let's see who that win was to. Neil Magny coming off a win over Mike Malott, which was in January of this year. That was a TKO by punches. Before that, he had a couple decisions, 1 loss, 1 win. He can win by everything, really. But yeah, he's a little bit smarter than some of these other guys, and I don't think Morales will be able to bait him into that war. He said after the Malott fight, you can never be sure. Yeah, exactly. It's just one of those things. Neil Magny, just you think he's like this high level great fighter, but then he gets into these fights where you're just like, what are you fucking doing, bro? Like, let's fight maybe. You know, 'cause some of his fight IQ could be translated into possibly maybe being just timid and worried. So yeah, you just never know what the fuck's gonna happen. But Mike Morales is one of these good up and coming guys, just ready to knock somebody the fuck out basically. His last win against Jake Matthews, that was a unanimous decision. Before that, Max Griffin by decision, and then a couple TKOs to when he debuted. Adam Fugit and Trevin Giles. Not bad. Most of those names are recognizable at least. So, and he is one of these Dana White Contender Series guys from back in 2021. So, and he got a unanimous decision win there, but got that contract and wound up here in the UFC and is undefeated, 4-0. So I think, what's that? Yeah, for sure. And he's got that unbeaten streak going. So we'll see if he can keep that intact here. Got earbuds falling out or what? Moving on to the Ultimate Fighter fights for the to crown a champion for the Ultimate Fighter. We got the first fight being in the featherweight division. This is Khan Ofli, I think, versus Mayron Santos. I'm hoping I'm saying that correctly. But yeah, obviously they're making their UFC debuts because this is the Ultimate Fighter finale. So no UFC record yet, but 11-2 for Ofli and 13-1 for Santos. Ofli's never been KO'd or TKO'd or submitted. He's technically on an 8-fight win streak because those are 8 fights outside of the UFC, but yeah, it's a pretty long win streak there. And then you got Santos with a 2-fight win streak. No submission wins or losses. It's not lost by decision, and only 1 TKO loss. He's only got 1 loss overall. So yeah, this could be a pretty decent fight. Again, I didn't watch a lot of the Ultimate Fighter. It was just Magny beats prospect but loses to the top. That is a fucking true statement right there, Frederick, for sure. That's pretty much what it's a great way to sum up Neil Magny. That's what happens. Let's see if Michael Morales though can be the one to break that little streak of Neil Magny beating the prospects. So let's see what happens here with this Ultimate Fighter Championship coming in the middle of the card with Ofli versus Santos. And let's see, where did these guys fight before? I assume, but this is Santos right here. Yeah, it looks like nothing but UAE, Warriors, HFS, Bushido, AFC. Damn, some crazy off organizations. Santos is Brazilian. He fought in LFA that I recognize. Shuto Brazil. Yeah, wow. Okay, I was just curious as to what organizations they fought in before this. I assume you didn't get to watch any of the Ultimate Fighter either. Yeah, it's tough, man. It's hard for me to listen to Alexa Grasso and Valentina Shevchenko especially. It's hard for me to listen to them. It's tough. I'll watch them fight all day, but listening to them talk on a normal basis is very tough. So we'll see what happens in that featherweight fight there for the Ultimate Fighter. Now moving on to the second and final fight of the Ultimate Fighter finale. In the middleweight division, we got Robert Valentine, or Valentine, I'm not sure which way it's said, but versus Ryan Loder. Yeah, 10-3 overall for Valentine, 6-1 for Loder. And Loder only has that 1 loss, and it was by decision. So he's on a 2-fight win streak since that loss, and Valentine is on a 4-fight win streak. Looks like he wins more by sub than anything, and Loder's more of a KO TKO guy. So we'll see what happens here. I do wish I would have watched more of the event or of the series because you get to learn a lot more about these guys if you didn't actually watch a lot of it. But I usually do. Like, this is one of the first seasons I just couldn't do it. So that's what's it was just tough. Uh-oh. What's happening here? Because I see the stream just really? Oh, okay. It looked like it was buffering. I was like, what the hell's happening? Yeah, so Mayron is the Rio de Janeiro, the dangerous place, equal tough fighter. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Let's see. Uriah Faber's A1 Combat Loder was a part of, as well as United Fight League. And then I saw Valentine was in Lions FC and Aries and LFL. Okay. Yeah, so none of these guys have really fought in the real big organizations. But they're just like, yeah. Well, there used to be one called Lion Fight, but I don't know if this is an offshoot of that or what. But yeah. Anyway, I'm always curious to see. Where these fought before. So that let's see. I got thrown off by this YouTube error thing is kind of throwing me off here. Because I was just making sure, like, it looks like it's buffering here and there, so I'm hoping that it's not showing me. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with that, because my CPU usage is good too, so I don't know. Yeah, I'm gonna have to do some troubleshooting because I'm tired of this happening. It only seems to happen when I have somebody in with me, because when I'm solo, it doesn't happen at all. So I'll just need to figure out what's happening with that. But yeah, hopefully that does keep happening. I don't want to lose everybody. I know it just kind of started happening. That's what's annoying. But anyway, there's Loader and Valentine for that. Next fight, Angela Hill versus Tabitha Ricci. And this, I feel like this should be a pretty good fight. Angela Hill has fought a lot. 17 and 13 overall. 12 and 13. She has a losing record in the UFC, and it's by double digits. So that's a lot. But she's entertaining to watch. It's just one of those things where, yeah, I don't know. I don't even know how to explain it. It's just tough. But she's a good fighter. She came on Ultimate Fighter way back in the day when, I think it was the first series of the women on the Ultimate Fighter. So, but her opponent is Tabitha Ricci, which, by the way, if you're interested, go check out the Instagram, because it's a good one, and the weigh-ins are fun to watch too when Tabitha Ricci's fighting. So, but yeah, I feel like this should be a pretty decent fight. Angela Hill's one of those girls that she's kind of like Neil Magny, where she'll beat the prospects, but the higher level opponents is just tough for her. So Tabitha Ricci is one of those girls that's been on her way up. She's 5-2 in the UFC. More decision wins than anything, but that's a lot of the girls. Look at Angela Hill's decisions, 11-11. She is on a 2-fight win streak though, with wins over Luana Pinedo and Denise Gomez, or Gomes. I'm not sure exactly which way that's said, but yeah, you got Angela Hill. She's fought a lot of big names. You know, her last loss was to Mackenzie Dern, which is what gives me pause in saying that she can easily beat Tabitha Ricci, because Ricci's a lot more well-rounded than Mackenzie Dern, and the fact that she lost to Mackenzie is one of those things. I have a question for you. Do you think that for the USA have a good life, the Americans don't sound good in MMA like Brazilian? That is very dangerous. Yeah, I'm not sure. Or don't. Yeah, it's tough. I think in the US there's a lot more distractions, and a lot of people that aren't mastering in one thing. They're just trying. A lot of people are coming up training in MMA overall, so they're not mastering in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. They're not mastering in wrestling. They're not doing any of that. They're doing just enough of everything to get them through. So I feel like the people that come up in jiu-jitsu that then also learn how to strike and also learn how to wrestle and everything, you know, like that. I feel like those are the people that do super well. But also there's a something to be said for people that come up training in MMA. They're a different breed. So I think in the purest form, it's hard to say that anybody in the US is better than someone that comes from Brazil that has grown up learning Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and everything else. So it's just one of those things. It's a tough thing to know. You know, everyone's gonna have their opinion from wherever they're from, and that's, yeah, it's just a tough, yeah, for sure. And so there's so many, but everyone has the internet now, so that's the thing. That's the distraction for everyone. But it could also, I mean, it just depends on how you use it too. It could also be one of those things that helps everyone. So you never know. But back to Angela Hill with these big wins against Lupi Godinez here. She's had a lot of wins, a lot of big names, but like I said, she drops fights to the bigger, more America has the most champs. Frederick's a patriot. Yeah. Oh, true. Yeah. Maybe he's maybe that's a, yeah. You never know. But here's Tabitha Ricci, big punch against Robertson, and let's see, she's coming off a win to Tisha Pennington, which used to be Tisha Torres, but what's that? Oh yeah. So this was a split decision win against Robertson. Oh, I'm sorry, unanimous decision win. It was a split decision win against Tisha Pennington. Her last loss was against Lupe Godinez, which that's a tough opponent. I feel like Ricci has a good chance here at beating Angela Hill, which would be good because she's kind of one of those gatekeeper types where if you get past her, you're definitely gonna catapult yourself up a little bit, and if you lose to her, you're just gonna be stuck at that level for a little while. Frederick said, even in jiu-jitsu, the GOAT is American. Brazil's dominance ended with Anderson. Oh, here comes Tommy. Tommy is a Brazilian hater. I think Ricci can only win this if she holds Hill against the fence and throws knees. See, that's the thing. I like Ricci looks so crisp and clean with her striking a lot of times, and I'm actually really impressed by her striking. In some aspects,
you know
when
how
she
he
fought
feels
Lupe
already.
Godinez, it was like she was a beginner. So I don't know what the fuck she was doing there. But yeah, like her striking looks crisp and clean. Maybe I'm just mesmerized by other parts, but when you're watching the fighting aspect, I feel like her striking's good. But yeah, she is good at holding people against the cage with the knees and stuff, like Frederick said. That is a good point. But I do think she has a good chance of beating Hill, because Hill likes to get in these weird fights where if it's not going her way, basically it's gonna go downhill for her quick. And if Ricci jumps on her fast and puts her up against that cage, or maybe just is good and crisp with that striking, I think that maybe she can jump on her fast and you know, get her to lose confidence quickly. So I'm rooting for Ricci here, but that's just me. Go to Instagram and find out why. What'd you say? Yeah. So getting to the oh shit, I missed one. Oh, there's that punch against Tisha Pennington. That was her last fight. Let's move on to the main event though, and close it out here. We got Jared Cannonier versus Kyle Barallo. Cannonier, dude, 40 years old, but he looks pretty good for 40. Homeboy's ripped. But 17-7 overall, 10-7 in the UFC, and he's coming off a loss when he's fighting Kyle, who's 31 years old and on a 6-fight winning streak, undefeated in the UFC. But Cannonier has fought all the big names, and it seems like when he gets to that just pinnacle is when he just loses and just can't seem to get over the hump against the opponents that, you know, that matter at the moment. So that's what's tough. And, you know, this is one of those guys that's undefeated, up and coming, kind of just working his way up the ranks, and has looked really, really good in all of his fights. So Jared's just trying to see if he can hang there and stop this guy and be an Angela Hill of this weight class, basically. Or a Neil Magny even, like we talked about earlier.
So Frederick was saying Robertson doesn't say much, to be fair. She's a grappler for the most part. So
That, yeah, I mean, that's true. But yeah, I get it. I know what you're saying. Yeah, I don't even know what to say about that. Ricci's one of those girls. I feel like she still has to hone her skills in. I just root for her because I don't really know why. One of her fights, man. It was one of those things where I watched her fighting, and her striking was so crisp, and when she got into exchanges with the grappling and stuff. She just looked really good there. And I don't know, something caught my eye. So I've just been one of those people that have been on Ricci's team for a little bit now. But Frederick, with all respect to you, that is of MMA. Brazilians don't have the equal conditions life like Americans. For example, the Brazilians pay for MMA $30 for fight in jungle fight. Oh, like they're paying to fight instead of getting paid to fight. For sure. And I think that actually, that actually helps with, because they're so focused, because that's really all they have to do, and they're putting something into it to get something out of it, instead of I mean, everybody here in America has to pay for their training too. Like, they got to pay for gym memberships, they got to pay for their coaches, they got to pay for a lot of shit too. They just don't have to pay to actually fight. So maybe that is something different. So I get what they're saying, but Brazilians go to America to get better at MMA. Yeah. I know. Yeah, I understand. I mean, we've seen good examples of both things being true. So that's definitely an argument, that's a toss up there. But back to this main event, Cannonier versus Brawley. God damn it. I don't know. I always add an I at the end of that, like before the O, like if it's that he was on a 5-win streak with wins over Sean Strickland and Marvin Vettori. That's what I'm talking about, though. Big names that he's fought. Vettori, Strickland, Adesanya he lost to, but he beat Derek Brunson, Kelvin Gastelum, Jack Hermanson. He beat Anderson Silva. They have to pay for fights on the AMI scene. Okay. I get it. I see what he's saying. That's kind of what I was saying too. I mean, I don't know about all the amateur stuff, but they definitely have to pay a lot of money to have all of the training and stuff if they want to have high level people. So you're muted. Who's muted? Yeah, I don't know.
India, if I'm saying that right.
Oh yeah.
Because he said he's not a victim.
Yeah, I see
so that's
you're
my
muted.
guess. I don't
I'm
know.
thinking he's talking about us. But anyway, so Cannonier, he's just one of those guys that fucking I don't even know. Oh shit, I pushed the wrong one. God damn it, I keep doing that. Hold on. Something is yeah, that's why I'm like, oh, I see what happened. I screwed up my my order in. Okay, here we go. I'm gonna get this right. I messed up. Yeah. There we go. See, I fixed it. Easy enough. Yeah, so Cannonier has heavy hands, and that's something Kyle has to look out for. I wish Frederick would tell me who he's telling was muted. That's all right. And then he had a big right against Adesanya here, even though he did lose to Adesanya. But he's looking to get his way back to that, maybe that title shot. But coming up against the undefeated. Oh, and I have to show Sean Strickland getting hit, because that's just something that makes me happy. But Cannonier beat Sean Strickland as well too, so I mean it's valid. But Kyle Kyle inside 3 rounds. Okay, I could see that happening. I mean, Cannonier's gotten hit before and gotten caught, so Kyle definitely has that potential. Yeah. Oh yeah, someone different. I didn't even notice that. So last fight, Kyle Bahalo won against Paul Craig. Ibus Magomedov as well. He fought Mikhail Oleksiejczuk. So I mean, he's undefeated in the UFC. He came off of Dana White's Contender Series as well. Kyle said he wants a round 1 KO and Cannonier is a slow starter. Good point. I hate that shit too, because you know they're slow starters, but they're it's one of those things where just because they start slow doesn't mean it's going to be bad for them. But if their opponent's starting fast and they don't know how to get going, like Chito Vera is a slow starter too, and it sucks because he has so much, he can do so much, but he has to get going, and it takes him so long to get going. Jared isn't knocking out Kyle. His head is too big. Tommy, your lips were moving for about 3 minutes and we could only hear your music. Oh, what the fuck? See? And I don't get it because now I got excellent on.
I saw that.
The live control panel. I'm gonna have to do some troubleshooting this weekend. Other questions: if UFC traveled to Brazil more, the Americans have more belts that the Brazil. Weird. Trying to make sense of that one. But Frederick said, "What are you even talking about now?" Not you, DJ. Okay. Shit. Yeah, well, it is what it is. I can't do anything about it now, but it's good to know. So thank you guys for the feedback on that.
Absolutely.
Cannonier got hurt by Vettori early. Yeah, so I mean, here's the thing. Kyle is undefeated. He's looking to keep that undefeated record for sure, and I could see him catching Cannonier early. But also, if it goes to the later rounds, Cannonier might have the upper hand. Kyle has gone to decision the second fight before this one, before his last. I'm just seeing the
I'm looking at the comments right now.
So he's gone the distance quite a few times, so it's not like he can't do it, but delayed again. See, I don't understand why the delay.
But they might be delayed, so it's hard to troubleshoot when they're 15 to 30 seconds behind.
Kaya says he's unproven against good opposition. However, Kyle is way too well-rounded, younger, and bigger than Jared, so should be a fairly decent night at the office. Yeah, that's the thing. Every time I talk about someone being younger and on up and coming, and it looks like they might, you know what I mean? It's like one of those things where next thing you know, the older, more well-versed guy is just getting the best of everybody. So anyway, I appreciate all of the interaction in there. Good thoughts on everybody's part, and thank you guys for my CPU is fine. It's been at single digits, barely hitting double digits this whole time, so that's what I don't understand. That's why I need to do some
I'm at 2.5
troubleshooting
and 6.6 megs. So
yeah,
but it's also storming out, so I don't know, that might be affecting a lot of stuff.
It's not storming here though, so
okay.
Yeah, I don't know. It is what it is. We got through it, and when it comes down to it, I'm just gonna have some troubleshooting. Oh, Magix jumps in at the end. That does it for UFC Vegas 96. I did not make any picks this week, so go with your gut. It's not like I do well with the picks anyway. Especially after last week, I was so happy. It was one of those things where for a minute there, I thought I was gonna actually win some money, and then I didn't. So
you almost had your parlay, right?
I did. I was the Steve Ursig fight fucked it up.
it ain't one thing, it's another. What up, Magics?
Yeah. Anyway, thanks again, everybody. Americans don't like travel for Brazil for fight, but the Brazilians way travel for the UFC.
I'd go over there, but it wouldn't be for a fight.
Well, the thing is, you know, the UFC is based out of the U.S., so they make their way out of the country a lot, but it's based out of here. So, unfortunately, if you want to be a part of the biggest organization out there, then you're gonna have to travel. That's the way things go. That's the way it is. And you know, I feel bad for people that have to do that and feel like they're at a detriment for it. But that's just the way it works, and it's been that way since it started. They made their way to Brazil a lot when there was a lot of Brazilian fighters that were, you know, in contention and holding belts for a long time. The Brazilians held the most belts. It's just not that way anymore. So, but their way of living is a lot rougher than we have here. So, I mean, I feel for them in that aspect, but you know, when it comes to traveling, it is what it is. The UFC travels everywhere, and the people from the US have to travel out of the US into crazy conditions in order to fight too. So it may not be fully equal, but everybody has to do it.
Yep.
So,
Facts.
yeah. But yeah, that about does it. I'm sorry for the technical difficulties, but I appreciate everybody that was in here. Please talk. Let's go Brazil. It's cool. We got a Brazilian here that's fighting for their country and their love. That's
good.
cool. I'm good with it.
All gravy.
As soon as you switch scenes, your lag stopped. Okay, that's good feedback because that could mean something. And it can't be my background because my background is crazier in this one than it is in the other one. So I wonder what that's about.
That
That's
shouldn't
definitely
take that much power, but we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, I just noticed in the watch party last week that once I turned off that video for a background and just put a still picture, everything got better. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to watch this one back and pay attention and see what I can figure out and do some troubleshooting this weekend.
Cool.
But yeah, also Technically Unsound podcast. The people giving me the heads up on things in asking about CPU and telling me about the lag stopping. That's DJ Magix and Tommy. They're from the Technically Unsound podcast. And we go live every Sunday and Tuesday night, 7 p.m. Arizona time. Me and Infinity are in there as well. So if you want to hear us talk about something other than MMA, we talk a lot of technical stuff and podcasting stuff. We do drink reviews and stuff like that. So we're always having a drink, getting loose, having fun.
Yep.
So yeah, don't forget to check that out. Go like and subscribe over there. Don't forget to like and subscribe here as well. Every Thursday, 7 p.m. Come back, same channel, same time, and catch the recaps and previews and all the combat sports news. Infinity, I appreciate you being in here and helping me out with this tonight.
Thank you.
Frederick, and I think it's Andrea, Kai, Vulcan, Tommy, Magix, everybody in the chat. Appreciate you guys and all of your interactions and discussions. Alex gets subbed by DDP, but by the way, at 205 or 185.
He just wants Andrea to know something.
Yeah, Frederick versus Andrea in the chat. all making good points though. Magomed bullies Alex too. Oh, yeah, that one.
That'd be interesting.
Yeah. All right. So thanks again, guys. Come back. Thanks for all. Come back next week. Appreciate you guys. That's it for us. We're out of here. Enjoy the fights this weekend. Peace.
Later.